Whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace. Oh yeah, we talking about it, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to my review of the Oscars, ladies and gentlemen. Let me come on the camera right now. Boo for Hollywood. This song is called Hooray for Hollywood, but I say Boo for Hollywood. What's up, everybody? Welcome to an exciting edition of Random Topics these days with your boy, Gavin, aka 2786, aka Mr. Money himself. And we're going over discussing a couple of topics today, including the Angela Bassett viral look, the Angela Bassett look that went viral. I'm also going to be talking about how the Oscars, ladies and gentlemen, still can't attract multi-million people, can't attract the views that it had once before. And we're going to go into also leaked photos from a strip club that forces Powerade to withdraw a Ja Morant ad. And also Michael Irvin, LFL Hall of Famer, Michael Irvin refiles his lawsuit against the Marriott in Arizona. All this and more, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, family? Let's see who we got in the building. One who cares. We got Darius from Atlanta. We got to pay our dues first, of course. Donate to the Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle to support the channel as it's not monetized. We always appreciate that. If you can, ladies and gentlemen. I would also ask if you would to subscribe to our Facebook page at Commonwealth Cause and purchase on Kindle The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby. So you can subscribe to the Facebook page and you can go to Kindle and order that now. Make sure you hit the notification bell when we go live. That's important. And also, ladies and gentlemen, check out our songs Got to Get On Up and Video Soul that we have available on iTunes and Amazon and Apple. Now, we got Darius from Atlanta. I'm early. I wanted to do an early show today. I got to talk about this. Oscar still white. Angela Bassett's look at Jamie Lee Curtis's, after, I should say, Jamie Lee Curtis's win for Everything, Everywhere, All at Once went viral. And you have scumbags at the New York Post, I should say Compost, that were going at Queen Angela Bassett. Now, for those that don't know what happened, Angela Bassett was nominated. Now, I'm going to show you why I say that. Now, this is the YouTube page. So I just happened to do a search on Angela Bassett Oscar reaction. And there, of course, there's one out in Fox 26. They're doing a debate. I wasn't going to play that. I haven't even looked at it, but they say Oscar's biggest sore losers. Angela Bassett was not the first. Now, this is
Oscar
what they're
goes
talking
to.
about. This is the reaction. They're calling her a sore loser for this. Now look, they say it earned her a spot among Oscar's biggest sore losers of all time. Fair use, by the way. Uh, they named Sam Jackson and they named Angela Bassett. So let's just go back. Hold on. I gotta go back and look at this. Now, Holly Hunter was nominated, I believe, for Best Supporting Actress and Best Actress. They called Angela Bassett a two-time score loser. This is the New York Compost saying this stuff about bullshit about Angela Bassett. Yet you saw there they put Talia Shire and Holly Hunter. She lost to Anna Paquin for the pianist, and people are going upset at Angela Bassett for her reaction. But here was the thing: if you go on Twitter and someone pointed this out, even at that reaction, Diane Warren, who is a songwriter, was nominated for Best Original Song, and she even failed to clap at the when her rival won. Yeah, and Marlon and Samuel Jackson lost to Martin Landau, and that was the year Samuel L. Jackson was nominated for Pulp Fiction. I believe he played Jules. Yeah, that's when he played Jules. So, and he was phenomenal in that. Samuel Jackson has never won an Oscar. He's gotten an honorary Oscar. And yet, when you look at Angela Bassett's performance versus Jamie Lee Curtis, now I saw the movie. Let's talk about that movie. Every week, everything, everywhere, all at once. I don't know about you. I've seen people who loved it. I've seen people who liked it because it was science fiction. You know, they're into that science fiction thing, which I like science fiction too. I didn't understand what the hell I was watching when I saw that film. Angela Bassett is upset because she lost to a movie about hot dog fingers. That was in the film too. They even had a person, David Bryan, singing "This Is Life" from Everywhere All at Once with freaking hot dog fingers. This is what was in the movie. Okay, this is what the and in this scene, I guess it's about when I looked at it, it's about alternate realities and so forth. The lead character, you got to remember something too. The lead characters are Asian, they're Chinese, even though Michelle Yeoh is from Malaysia, but it's based off of I believe a Chinese family. Dee Wong, who's in it, uh, as well as Ke Huy Quan, uh, who played Short Round from Indiana Jones, as well as The Goonies. He got one Best Supporting Actor for Oscars. But this is what Angela Bassett is upset about. She lost to Oscar Mayer Wiener uncured Oscar Mayer fingers. This beat her when she had to. When she basically she and the sister who the young lady who played in Wakanda Forever, who played the sister Siri. You have to forgive me. I don't recall her name. They carried the film. Letitia White, right? She was not nominated. Shuri was not nominated. And Angela Bassett, they had to rewrite and rework the movie because of Chadwick Boseman's untimely death. But this is what beat Angela Bassett's dramatic performance. Now, I saw both films, and I thought with Wakanda Forever, I knew it wasn't going to be the same without Boseman, but they had to uh, edit the film. They had to, excuse me, remake a lot of rewrites due to Chadwick's death. And one fatal flaw, I believe, with the film was how they killed the Queen Mother off. Some people are complaining because about Disney doing that because it minimized Angela Bassett's performance, which I understand what they're trying to say, but I don't quite see that. I think Disney did that as a business decision because there were going to be people, I think, either way that were going to complain about Black Panther not recasting it, and also those that didn't like the recasting choice. You're going to be judged by how good you were compared to Chadwick Boseman's performance and whether you nailed it or not. Now, Chadwick Boseman, now here's the thing that a lot of people don't know, especially Black people. Number one, when we say this is a Black film, it's not a Black film, it's a Disney film. Disney is the one that makes money off of this. Marvel Studios, because Marvel is owned by Disney. You also have to realize this was created by Stan Lee and I want to say Jack Kirby, the Black Panther. So this is not Black owned. The other thing I would point out too is that as phenomenal as Angela Bassett's performance was, the Oscars don't mean the Oscars in and of itself. They were not going to give uh, an award to an actress for playing a comic book character. That rarely happens. There are some exceptions where people get nominated for movies like you saw here very rarely in science fiction films. Like, for instance, I remember when Sigourney Weaver played Helen Ripley in Alien. Now, believe it or not, she was nominated for Best Actress for that role, and she killed it. Now, she didn't win because it was a science fiction film, but having a woman, a female, get nominated for Best Actress in a science fiction film was unheard of at that time in the 80s. This was, I think, at the 1987 Oscars. Then to top that off, you also got to remember also Jamie Lee Curtis's film. In that film, uh, there is a lot of the alphabet agenda in. Well, there it's in both films. Actually, there's some of it, not as much as in Everything Everywhere All at Once, but it is in both films. They had some reference to that, and I best believe if they had made the Queen that Ramonda, that I believe that she definitely would have probably gotten that award because they like seeing Black people like that, like the movie Moonlight, why that won Best Picture. Uh, and bear in mind when you watch these movies, and this is another, I'm going to get on the Oscars, but that's something I've seen. I've noticed this agenda, just like Brendan Fraser won for Best Actor for The Whale. His character, who was morbidly obese, was gay. So it doesn't surprise me that Angela Bassett lost. But let's talk about the Oscars for a minute. When you talk about the Oscars and its ratings, the Oscars, according to what I've read, had an audience of only 18.7 million viewers. And now that seems like a lot. And a guy by the name of John Nolte from Breitbart wrote this article. Now, of course, Breitbart is just as bad as Fox News. I take what they say for a grain of salt. However, I corresponded this with an article that they even had a hyperlink to with Yahoo News. Now, he called Jimmy Kimmel a ratings poison. Ratings poison. He says early Jimmy Kimmel Oscar ratings humiliating 16 million. Now, Roger Freeman is embarrassing himself with his Oscars are back headline. How could the Oscars be back when 16.6 million tuned in? And that was a catastrophe when that was the second lowest viewership in Oscars telecast history. So he has a breakdown of the Oscars from the over the last decade. In 2013, you had 40.3 million. In 2014, 43.7. 15, 37.3. In 2016, 34.4. 2017, 32.9. 2018, 26.5. 2019, 29.6. 2020, 23.6. And 2021, 10.4. Now, this was the year of the pandemic. This was the year of the pandemic. I believe it was scaled back greatly. They had, I can't remember, was Lorel hosting? They were doing some type of co-hosting. No, I don't think Lorel Howery couldn't have been hosting. I think he was presenting. I don't think they had a host that year. If I could be wrong, just because of the way it was set up. But they did the same thing with the Grammys. And then in 2022, which was the infamous "Keep Your Wife's Name Out Your effing mouth," the Will Smith Chris Rock incident, 16.6, and then this year 16 million. So it's gone downhill. So you would think that this number is great, obviously by uh, the way 16 million is a lot of people. Most people think that way, but you got to factor in there are over 350 million people that live in the United States, for instance, and you also have to factor in this is in California, so most people California holds 36 million people. So let's just say that much. California is the most populous state in the union in the United States. So roughly, you could say, of course, there were people in the United States that watch across the United States that watch this, but realistically speaking, just half of California, you could say in a sense, was watching the Oscars if they had their television sets on. That's low. 16 million out of 350 million people. Now, everyone doesn't watch these shows. They can watch the awards and see who won, of course, afterwards. Plus, they know there wasn't going to be any big controversy like last year because Will Smith is not at the Oscars this year. Sometimes what they do when it's a best actor from the previous year, they would present to the best actress, and the best actress present to the best actor, the previous best actress. So they did it vice versa. I didn't see that this time. Uh, Let me say, when we talk about diversity, and I take what, like I said, with Breitbart, what I take what they say for what I take what they say for a grain of salt. However, they also had, now they say this was a increase from 2022, but clearly, if it's 16.6 million and now you have 16 million, you do have a slight drop. And you factor in, obviously, from what Roger Friedman is saying when he says the Oscars are back, comparing it to previous years, where you have 40 million, 37 million, this is abysmal. Now, why the Oscars were created in the first place, this is why people are saying fuck the Oscars, and I say it too. I don't give a damn about the Oscars. Like I said, I watch it basically to see if I can get some material and so forth. That's the only reason I watch it. But in reality, the Oscars basically was created by Hollywood executives so that they didn't have to pay their stars and starlets money. They gave award shows, they gave them recognitions to give them tokens instead of cash that they can live out. So I didn't have to give you a raise. But now you give these awards out because you give these awards out now. Of course, you think more people get more roles, get more money. Well, look at some of the actors and actresses who have won Oscars. Jamie Foxx, of course, the only one. Denzel Washington. Now Denzel is always working. Jamie Foxx still works, but Jamie Foxx, of course, he's in television now. Jennifer Hudson's in television. Monique has won an Oscar. Forrest Whitaker has won an Oscar. Hell, Sam the Snowman, Burl Ives won an Oscar back in the 50s for Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. A bunch of people, an Oscar. I mean, lots of people win Oscars. And while that is a great individual achievement, I'm not putting down anybody that's won an Oscar. I believe Spike Lee got an Oscar for writing for Black Klansman, as well as um, Jordan Peele has won an Oscar. I believe he got one for. Did he get one for Get Out? I think he did. People win Oscars all the time, but Soul Train awards mean every damn thing, especially from the 90s. That was more popular to me, man. The Oscars don't mean anything. That's why I don't want Angela Bassett. Let me say this because Angela Bassett has had her defenders too. And I want Queen Angela to understand. I know you worked in Hollywood for going on almost 40 years now. You've done an elegant job. The Oscars, you don't need the Oscars for validation. I remember the first time I saw Angela Bassett, she played Betty Shabazz in Malcolm X. She was not nominated. I don't believe she was nominated for that role for Best Supporting Actress, which I think she should have won. Same thing with Malcolm X with brother Denzel, who doesn't look like a thing like Malcolm X, was shorter than Malcolm, was even a little more dark complected than Malcolm, but nevertheless, he captured the essence of Malcolm X that you thought that was Malcolm on that screen. You believed that Malcolm X came back to life for those 3 hours that Spike Lee made. And he did a phenomenal job, did not win. He lost to Al Pacino, who is another phenomenal actor who should have won for movies like Godfather Part 2, got the original Godfather, Dog Day Afternoon, Scarface. As much as that comes on, you would think he would have gotten nominated. He wasn't nominated for that. He won for Scent of a Woman. Martin Scorsese, who's another great director who directed Pacino in The Irishman, never won an Oscar until he did The Departed, which was a remake of a Japanese film. And honestly, Martin Scorsese, we know, is one of the greatest directors of all time, should have gotten an Oscar for Raging Bull or Goodfellas. He didn't get that. He lost to movies such as Ordinary People and Dances with Wolves, movies that we don't talk about that often today. But yet, it's Goodfellas that's always on television. It's Raging Bull we remember as classics. It's the Robert De Niro we remember as classics. So that's why an Oscar don't mean a damn thing anymore. And I want Angela Bassett, and people need to lay off of her because she was not the only one, first off, that has given a reaction like that. She's human, and she was disappointed, understandably so, that she lost to lesbians with hot dog fingers. Now, Jamie Lee Curtis in that film, and I saw that, and shout out to Michael B. Jordan, Jonathan Majors, because they came out to present an award and called her auntie, just to show that, and raised his head up to give her respect. She's the first person to be nominated for a Marvel film. She did win a Golden Globe for her performance in January, but I believe Jamie Lee Curtis won a SAG, and now she won the Oscar. And the only black person that won an Oscar was Ruth Carter for costume designs. Now she's won previously for Black Panther, so this is back to back. I don't get caught up in that crap.
Jamie Lee
This is a natural reaction, guys. She was disappointed, and she has the right
Jamie
to do
Lee
so. Nobody gonna remember. Who gonna remember this film? Hot dog. I'm gonna remember that. You lost the hot. I'd be upset too if I lost the hot dog fingers. Diane Warren didn't clap. I've seen a lot of people, a lot of people who lose an Oscar and don't clap. Now, I'm gonna give you an example. Let's look at it. We're gonna call them out. Just look at this. Okay, so this is Diane Warren. She's trending. Someone said Lady Gaga's reaction when Not to winning Best Original Song. So look, Diane Warren, who's
RRR.
right there,
RRR.
RR1, RRR1, and they did
RR.
a song called Not to. That one Best Original Song. Not Top Gun Maverick, not Black Panther. These are the two, and this is another last point I want to make. These are two of the highest grossing films of 2022. Top Gun Maverick made over $1 billion. I think Black Panther Wakanda Forever made a little under a billion. They made about 858 million. So not as much as the original. And Diane Warren, just a little trivia note, she did the song for DeBarge, Rhythm of the Night. Can you feel the rhythm of the night? You give me everything you strike, but about the worry of your life. The beat of the rhythm of the night. That's her song. She wrote that. So just the last point, I coupled what I saw on Yahoo News with Breitbart. And the guy had verified, and I looked at it, that the Oscars rise to a 3-year high, but there was a catch. So there was a 13% improvement in viewers and a 7% bump in adults 18 through 49 from last year's awards. But it is still, when you compare the numbers, obviously, to what they were in the past, they suck. They stink. So these award shows, like I said, they view it to award why it was created was to award uh, these actors and actresses by these executives, so they didn't just to entertain them. It's a big entertainment thing, just to celebrate themselves, to celebrate things that are not reality, that are not based on reality, and they want to say it was the highest rate. They say it's the highest. It stands as the highest rated award show of any kind since the 2020 Oscars. But what about 2013? If that had 40 something million, that's got to be the highest still of the decade. Something is wrong. All right. So what say you all? What do y'all think of the Oscars? I know many people, many people said they weren't gonna watch it. It was I didn't understand the damn movie. Vulcan. I get it was science fiction. I got it, but Oscar winning. Do I think Jamie Lee Curtis's performance was better than Angela's? No. By the way, guess who Jamie Lee Curtis gave that award to her daughter, and guess what about her daughter? She gave this the agenda. This is what I'm talking about, though, Vulcan. Oh, I'm telling y'all, this is what I'm talking about. Look what the news article is on CNN. Watch. What does this say? Jamie Lee Curtis is showing support for transgender daughter with her Oscar statuette, giving it pronouns they and them. This the daughter is trans. That movie had alphabet stuff in it. That's Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter, Ruby, who's transgender. I'm not gonna get on here because they're gonna think I'm bullying. I'm not. But she named the Oscar, which is a thing. An Oscar is a statute. It's not a person. Gave it they and them pronouns to support her. Yeah, that they did too. So I call it Oscars still white. They haven't changed. The Oscars are still white and the Oscars still suck. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Now, basically, the theme of this show should be blame a Negro because they always look for the negative when it comes to black people and blame them on something. So I want to talk about this. Now, there are leaked photos that were released from a strip club involving Ja Morant. Now, this, of course, we're talking about the New York Post. New York Post did the same thing with Ja Morant. There were some photos from a strip club called Shotgun Willie. I gotta laugh at that. That's actually Shotgun Willie. Shotgun Willie. Shotgun Willie is here to say that we can serve all drinks except Powerade. Shotgun Willie. Someone leaked out some photographs of Ja Morant at Shotgun Willie strip club. The night, of course, everybody knows if you haven't that Ja Morant posted a video. It went live on Instagram where he was at a club, a strip club, it seemed, with his shirt off, holding up a firearm, pointed down. He wasn't pointing at anyone. And the police had looked into this in that area. I believe this was in Glendale, Colorado, and they didn't press any charges against him because there was not enough evidence. But a Powerade ad had been pulled. Of course, Coca-Cola owned. Now, a lot of people don't know this. Coca-Cola owns Powerade, and they decided to pull this campaign from television. And this was a multi-year endorsement deal that he signed just days before he hoisted the gun on camera. Now, he signed a deal. I went over this, a 5-year deal with the Memphis Grizzlies last year that he could be worth as much as $231 million. So this third 23-year-old is young with money. And I will say this, he obviously had made a stupid decision. You screwing up the bag, brother, big time, by making dumb decisions. I've said that and I stand by that. However, you would think by all the stuff that you see here, they act like Ja Morant is a murderer. They're calling Ja Morant or treating Ja Morant everything but a child of God. And the New York Post, these photographs that were released, a lot of people are calling out the strip club for leaking for selling these photographs, and it had to come from them. That's my opinion. Now I don't know who exactly there gave it, but this was their footage. Hold on a second. Let me show you the photographs. Now you saw some of the photographs from the post I had, and this is the strip club. Now look at the money. Look at the money. They said, according to the New York Post, you would have to have a rake to get all of that money up. That's Ja, apparently, or allegedly. There's got to be Ja Morant. Well, I'm gonna say it's Ja Morant based off the photos. That's a stripper. I guess that is one of the managers at the club. This got to be the VIP section. This is the VIP room. Even Stephen Coon, and we know how much of a coon Stephen A can be, but Stephen A went in on this. Why? What do people think happens there? Why is the club releasing these? Feels like a massive invasion of privacy. Why would any big spenders go there ever again? You know what? I have a lot of feelings about the Ja Morant strip club photos being released. Frankly, I am ticked off about the whole situation. Going to record a new episode of No Mercy Pod and about it to be released tomorrow. So, and what's interesting is that they were singing Ja Morant's praises. They were saying, well, he's always been nice and polite. You know, we have Denver Broncos and Nuggets players who come in and throw quarters at the girls. He threw $50,000. He came, I think, 2 nights and gave over $50,000 to the strippers. And you released photographs of one of your clients, your bread and butter, your high paying clientele, somebody that rented out the VIP room, you leaked this out? You don't think that's bad for business? Come on, family. They leaked this out. I'm trying to find the article from the New York Post because I had it here. In fact, matter of fact, in the description box, I shared it. So it should be here, but they leaked this out. And now they want to sing Ja Morant's praises because they know they're about to lose a high paying customer. Hell, they're going to lose a bunch of customers because what NFL, what NBA athlete would want to go to a strip club where they leak footage of them out? And in fairness, what he's doing is not illegal. This happens at a strip club. Why are y'all shocked, Powerade? Look what the New York. So here's the article. They commented. This is how the New York Compost wrote this. Inside Ja Morant's $50,000 gun-toting booty bender at strip club. He was dropping more than dimes. Memphis Grizzlies all-star point guard Ja Morant dribbled and drooled over a stripper at the same Denver area jiggle joint where he blew $50,000 in tips and flashed a gun 48 hours later. Shocking photos obtained by the Post and insiders reveal. The new March 2nd snap shows the bad boy baller at raunchy Shotgun Willie. Shotgun Willie in Glendale, Colorado, transfixed by the backboard of a G-string clad brunette straddling his lap inside the VIP room, and almost every inch of surface covered in cash. Now, a lot of people, so that's the jiggle room, show club, Shotgun Willie. They say here, now look at this. I'm just reading this with y'all. At the club, the Grizzly turned horn dog, paying for four dancers and bottle service and chowing down on a Jersey busting spread of food that appeared to include a basket of hickory smoked wings, two platters of chicken strips, and fries and a steak, according to the insider in photos. That's a little excessive, but usually excessiveness is happening all the time. Deborah Donafon, the majority owner of Shotgun Willie's, confirmed Morant was a repeat customer. The kid, real young, was exceptionally respectful and sweet, and he did not drink on his second visit, said Dunafont, 72. We've had Nuggets and Broncos come in and pitch quarters at the girls, be disrespectful and nasty. He's marvelous. The gun, however, absolutely terrified shotgun girls in the back room, claimed one dancer who wasn't in the VIP room but heard complaints from her coworkers. He pulled the white boy excuse card. I'm just going through a lot now, so I'm going to act like a fool and put others people's lives at risk. Oh, come on. Now, here, though, she said Jonathan said she and police reviewed the security footage from Morant's now infamous second night and claimed nobody saw a gun. So, what we got to claim, ladies and gentlemen, is if nobody saw a gun and there wasn't enough evidence to convict him of a crime, where did he, was this the actual club he brought the gun in? You see, a man is innocent until proven guilty. Now, the NBA is investigating this, and they're looking at possibly suspending him even further if they found he was carrying a firearm on team premises. So there, he has been under investigation for other conduct. For instance, there was an alleged altercation between him and a 17-year-old where he supposedly pulled a gun. There was another altercation that allegedly occurred, I believe, with the Indiana Pacers earlier this year or last year that they're investigating. So he's not out of the woods yet, but this guys, this is the Negro. Ja Morant is the Negro of the month. However, young brother, you are young. While you are young, you are making yourself a target. You're going to be the first NBA player who went from the hood to the NBA back to the hood. You're going from a point guard to a shooting guard, literally. Don't do dumb shit like this. This was stupid. This was stupid. You're not a rapper, you're an NBA player. Now, it's not against, now you're not in trouble with the law, but you got to be mindful at 23 years old, especially as a 23-year-old black man. And I hope his father is listening too. You got to be mindful of the people that are around you, that they will always try to make an example out of you. Even though we know white boys do it, yes, they do this all the time. I mean, I look on Instagram, they're holding guns. I've seen children holding firearms, holding shotguns and AR-15s. Now, it wasn't at a club when they did this, true enough, but carrying a gun in and of itself is not against the law. But you should know better, especially if I'm in a club and you got people around you. This is something that happened. This there are people that are out to get you, and there are people that will try and destroy everything you have worked for, and you're giving them access to it. Don't be stupid, my brother. I want you to get your money. $234 million. Don't blow through that. Another thing too, watch your spending as well, because you did this once at the strip club. Number one, I wouldn't go back there again. They're actually calling for a boycott of Shotgun Willies. I saw Dez Bryant even tweeted about that. Believe it or not, I think that's going to hurt their business, because you leaked these photographs out to the press, basically exposing them. These men, let's mind you that some of these men are married. They don't want their business out there, like talking about it. They don't want photographs there. Now, Ja is a young man. He doesn't have kids, but doesn't have a wife. They don't want that exposed. But that's not, and that's not the reason why I think people are just calling for a boycott of that. They just don't like the fact that this was some sneaky shit that you did, and you basically did it to try and get a come up on a man who paid your strippers, paid you thousands of dollars. So now you did that to this NBA athlete, an all-star point guard. What actually makes you think that any other athlete in that area would want to come back there? The strip club got paid for the videos and photos of Ja Morant from the New York Post. Bryant tweeted, "Athletes, entertainers, please don't spend a dime or step another foot in there out of respect for Ja. Whoever owned that strip club sold that video for self-benefit. Athletes, I'm going to keep giving game." I agree. Yeah, look what they did. NBA, NFL, it's all a big buck plantation. That's all. And I'm just gonna say it. It's a big buck plantation. Black people for years have been taught the way that you can make money and make it out of the hood is by being an athlete. And what you do, and while it's true that that does work in some circumstances for the exceptional few, that's just it. It's a few of us. It's not all of us. And you're going there. You while you're making millions of dollars, your white bosses are making billions off of merchandise, your sweat, your blood, and tears, because they're getting paid for the people from the people that are in the seats. They're also getting paid from the concession stands if they own the building that are in that the building that you play the games in. That's why the Lakers were, Dr. Buss uh, and Jerry Buss and his family. He owned the Forum. They released it out to the Lakers themselves. That's how he was recouping money from that. He had all types of stuff going on in there so that they can make money. You look at Madison Square Garden, James Dolan. He's not only the owner of the Knicks, he owns Madison Square Garden. He kicked Spike Lee out. He's kicked a lot of people out. Knicks fans, diehard Knicks fans who buy tickets, he's kicked them out of Madison Square Garden just for booing him, just for having an opinion about how bad the Knicks teams are. He's that much. We talk, and y'all calling Angela Bassett a sore loser. That guy's that guy's scum. That guy is a big baby who doesn't want no for his thumb from his dick. James Dolan. I got that line from Road to Perdition when Jude not Jude Law. Daniel Craig was talking to Stanley Tucci, who was playing Frank Nitti. And he wanted to leave, and he said, "You're not a man. You're a big baby who doesn't know his thumb from his dick." Exactly. Black Americans are the entertainment. When do we become the owners, the agents, the lawyers? Yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't go to this club. Y'all hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Now, the next thing I want to get to is what happened with Michael Irvin. Now, it was announced earlier this morning. They stated that Michael Irvin had dismissed his lawsuit against the Marriott. That was the initial reports that I think came. I don't remember exactly from the news site. It might have been Dallas Morning News, but they had to rephrase it because what happened was they had to refile the suit in Arizona because they had to name the owner of that actual hotel. I believe the Marriott, while they sued the Marriott International, they're also suing the local owner. And when the suit is filed, I'll just give you an example. I believe this is Rule 41. The um, lawyer for Michael Irvin was talking about this, and what happens is that they had to file this lawsuit. They initially filed it in Texas, where Michael Irvin lived, but there was no connections with the owners of the incident, of the owners of that hotel in Arizona to Texas. So when there is something called I believe it's diversity jurisdiction. I think this is a lawsuit based off diversity, and the amount in controversy is over $75,000. You have two different defendants from two different parties from two different states, the plaintiff and the uh, plaintiff and the defendant. That's when you can file the action in that court. Now, Irvin is obviously suing because as a football player working for ESPN on First Take, he makes a lot of money, and he's looking at the loss of his income. He had to lose his job, uh, covering the Super Bowl and also potential future earnings. I think that's been named here. So his attorney, his attorneys have been trying to get access to any footage and video footage that they have about this incident. So his attorney announced Tuesday that they had to have the case filed in Arizona, but dismissed the original case that was filed in a Texas federal court without prejudice. And in a new case filing in Arizona Superior Court, they list six defendants, including the accuser, who was referred to as Miss Doe. They didn't even name the accuser. You don't even know the name of the person that accused you of sexual harassment, and three other employees. The other defendants are the Marriott International and Renaissance Hotel Operating Company. So they say the staffer accused Irvin of inappropriate behavior, including unwanted touching and crude language during an incident February 5th at Renaissance Phoenix downtown. Marriott was ordered to provide the name of Irvin's accuser and a video that shows what happened. Now, I have the video footage of that incident. Now, we can look at it from where they have it at the press conference, but it's a 4-minute video that I have here. I believe it's uninterrupted without his legal team that I was just playing. And if I can play it without, we're going to play, I guess, I don't know how long this one is. This is on Twitter. So this is courtesy of Stephen Dial from Fox 4. We're going to play this and we'll come right back. So hold on. I'll be right back.
Hold on one second. We've been going for a while. We're having a lot of conversation. As Marriott released in their statement, they said basically, he said one word to her, an offensive, vulgar thing that he did not say. It's clear from the video and from these witnesses. They have a very lengthy conversation and no one's trying to tell us what that is. Go ahead. That's where she tells some kind of joke, I believe, to him. He's seen kind of bend over. She's shaking her head back and forth like that. He walked in closer to her. She didn't back up at all. Now they're shaking hands. Now, I want you to watch the end interaction here. So she's going to kind of, when the people come up, she'll kick her leg As she walks off, she's still talking to Michael over the shoulder, all friendly. Here you go. It's her leg. And see right here, she's gonna look back over her shoulder and say to Michael, now pause it. Pause it. Okay. They claim he was leering at her. And he looks back at the bar, she's way gone. Because you're about to watch, she's gonna go over here, and that guy is gonna go he's gonna get very visibly upset with her. And basically, there's somebody who's, I don't wanna use the word abusive, but there's somebody who's really being forward to her. It's this gentleman here, it wasn't Michael. So watch what happens. Okay, go ahead and roll the tape. You see him grab her, and she falls, now pause it. Now Michael's looking over there for the first time. He's not watching her. He's talking to these guys. You'll see in a second, they turn around and they start talking to him. The guy in the white hat. Okay, go ahead. See? Now Michael walks out to go take a selfie with this, we believe, Renaissance employee, 99% sure. And the security guy stays right there with him, who's been around for the whole conversation around.
So that's the footage. That's at least half of the footage. The video itself is over 4 minutes, 36 seconds long. And when I looked at it and the footage, and I'll play it for you all so you could take a look, I didn't see anything that, now, of course, there's no audio, but there was nothing there to my observation, especially as an attorney, that saw Michael Irvin do anything physically against the law. And when you look at the footage, hold on. It looks like young lady, they were actually having a good time, laughing it up with each other. So this is the video footage. Now you heard the attorneys breaking it down. Michael Irvin, you see him outside. He's talking to those white patrons who came earlier. Now this guy, I believe, works at the Marriott in the vets. Now the attorneys were pointing this out. Now he walks there. This is the accuser. Now they blur her face out. Now she doesn't go back over to the bar. She goes there. And Michael Irvin is walking back to the bar and they're talking. They shake hands. Okay. Now she's got her hands clapped like this. She's not uncomfortable. And Michael Irvin, according to reports, what he said, he basically told her who he was because she didn't know who he was. She saw him, I think, taking pictures. You see another young man, it looks like he might be waiting to get a chance to speak with Michael Irvin, and they're talking. She's nodding her head back. You see here, this is the guy waiting right there. That is the guy, that is the manager. I believe this man works back here. So she obviously works in this area and is talking with a patron. And he's waiting there, clasping his hands. The attorney said he was likely upset that she wasn't back at her stations. My guess is she works the bar. But they're talking. And he taps her on the shoulder. Now, let me say this. In today's day and age, it is possible, even if it's incidental, you touch somebody, you grab someone's arm, grab their hands. That is technically, it can be considered a battery if you make any type of harmful or offensive contact with if you make any type of contact on a person without their approval. And even just a pat on the shoulder, as innocent can be, because you got people who don't like to be touched, people who are sensitive to touch, uh, to other people. They may have fear of germs. They may have fear of. Uh, they may have anxiety attacks, problems, anything like that is nature. Anything of that nature that might affect them. Now, it looks like he's laughing. Now her hands are behind her back. She's still talking. They're still talking. They shake hands afterwards. They're still shaking hands. And you see the guy with the apron. Look at him. He's still looking. Now he walks over to talk to her. He wants to speak with her. Now, Michael Irvin's attorneys talked about this. Now, I'm gonna finish playing the clip because now Michael Irvin, you see he leaves, walks off. Now, there's no audio in this, which you can't tell what he says, but according to reports, he's allegedly said, you know, you ever been with a black man? You ever had any black man in you? They actually quoted that. They gave him some 1970s interracial uh, buck jokes. Did you ever know about having a big black man inside you? According to the court documents. And Irvin said today, said, I don't talk like that. I totally deny saying that. And apparently they're saying Irvin finished leering at the victim and turned back to the employee. He said aloud, she's bad, followed by a sexual remark. And it was after this accusation, they decided to ESPN decided to remove him and the NFL Network. They removed him from their Super Bowl coverage. So he lost millions of dollars because of this. There was no there was no apparent no sexual assault, nothing. And I don't see the slap. They say he slapped himself on the head. Now, wait, hold on. Let me rewind that back. So he walks off when she's talking and is talking to some guys. And it looked like he did. Okay, so he did do a little slap on the cheek. Let's go and look at the with Michael Irvin's lawyer.
Okay, as we start here, y'all can see up to the top right. Michael is outside with the gentlemen that were here last time via Zoom. I've called them the TMZ witnesses because they were the first to interview them. But
He's talking about the two witnesses
three
that
gentlemen
testified on his behalf that came forward and said they didn't witness anything.
If you notice his body movements and what's going on, he's obviously going to be very friendly. There's some other people actually that take a picture. That right on the left, stop and go back 10 seconds. Can you do that? When I talked about the people that were in the back talking, I believe the complaining witness, I believe it's this gentleman here who's some kind of a manager. And then you'll see the witness who's been back come out this side. Okay. She's going to walk way around here to this pole instead of back to where her job would be back that way. Okay. Go ahead and roll it. There he goes. She'll come this way pretty soon across the bottom. Also, when she walks up, you'll see she kind of looks around the pole to see if Michael is still coming. You see her just barely duck her head. Here she comes. It's right there. You see how she stuck her head to the right? And now pause it. Now, she's way ahead of Michael. If she was to continue for her job, she'd over to the bar in a second, but she clearly slows down so that they're going to intersect at that kind of juncture where you have to walk in the bar. So
Her is trying to win this in the court of public opinion too.
This is the shake I talked to you about in the beginning, the open shake. Pause it. This guy over here with his hands on his hips is the angry manager, okay? If you go back a few seconds, I want him to see what he does with the hand clap when he sees her with Michael. He's going to behind the bar, see him walk out, time instead of on her. Going back a little far.
It is not as granular as it should be.
Okay. But we got it coming down because here she comes. He sees her back there where he's vectored, and he comes up, the manager, and you'll see him when he sees her. Watch his expression when he does. See the claps? I don't know what that is. Then he comes up here, and you can see he's visibly frustrated at what's going on somehow with her. Now let's take your focus back to Michael and her, because you can see they have friendly interaction. Body language is good. And they're just talking. Talking to any male at any point in the bar. That's pacing, hitting his hands. He's upset over there on the left with whatever's happening. The guy in the gray up top, that's the security guard that's wandering around. He'll circle around many times around Michael. Pause it 1 second. We've been going for a while. They're having a lot of conversation. As Marriott released in their statement, they said basically, he said one word to her, an offensive, vulgar thing that he did not say. That's clear from the video and from these witnesses. But they have a very lengthy conversation, and no one's trying to tell us what that is. Go ahead. That's when she tells some kind of joke, I believe, to him. You see him kind of bend over. She's shaking her head back and forth like that. He walked in closer to her. She didn't back up at all. Now they're shaking hands. Now, I want you to watch the end interaction here, because she's going to kind of, when the people come up, she'll kick her leg. As she walks off, she's still talking over the shoulder, all friendly. There you go. Kicks her leg. And see right here, she goes back over her shoulder and says, Michael, now pause it. Pause it. Okay. They claim he was leering at her. When he looks back at the bar, she's way gone. As you're about to watch, she's going to go over here, and that guy is going to go he's going to get very visibly upset with her. And basically, there's somebody who's, I don't want to use the word abusive, but there's somebody who's really being forward to her. This gentleman here, it wasn't Michael. Watch what happens. Okay, go ahead and roll the tape. You see him grab her, and she follows that pause it. Now Michael's looking over there for the first time. He's not watching her. He's talking to these guys. You'll see in a second, they turn around and they start talking to him, the guy in the white hat. Okay, go ahead. See? Now Michael walks out to go take a selfie with this, we believe, Renaissance employee, 99% sure. And the security guy stays right there with him, who's been around for the whole conversation, really.
This is more footage.
Thank y'all for coming. Here's the kind of format for what we're going to do today. Or they wanted to move it to Arizona. Now that we know who's involved, we state court. We don't have that. at some point. I get those from Marriott, and of course, I'll share them with you. We don't have still the tape on what the complaining employee or Michael were doing before this tape starts. Clearly, Michael had already been in the hotel and met with people and walked outside. We don't have that. So with that, I'll give you quickly the status of the case. Many of you, I won't say incorrectly reported, but said, we dismissed the federal court case. That is true. We did what's called a Rule 41 procedure. The case was refiled immediately and has already been refiled in Arizona in state court. Why did I do that? Well, you've seen all the pleadings that were filed here. We didn't know who all was involved when I started this case.
Right.
So we brought the case in Collin County where Michael lives. They obviously removed the federal court. They wanted to move it to Arizona. Now that we know who's involved, we've sued 4 individuals that are listed by name in the complaint. We've listed the company that operates this hotel out in Arizona. And of course, we have added Marriott International again. Okay, with that, I think we're ready to go to the tape.
But before we go to tape,
Okay.
let me see it. I do miss working and everything, but this is more than just work.
I'll clarify.
I'm in between.
So y'all heard what the attorney said. He stated the reason why they filed it was because they wanted to get the owners of that hotel involved, company that operates the hotel. They also have, and I should point out, that Jane Doe, who obviously lives up in Arizona. It had more ties in Arizona than it did in Colorado, in Texas. They filed it where the defendant lived, and I'm sorry, where the plaintiff lived, which was Michael. And obviously, if you're a defense attorney, you would want it in your home court. So what the plaintiffs did, they decided to dismiss the case in federal court and just bring it up in state court where the parties reside, the defense.
Big businesses here, businesses that make billions of dollars with and for each other. But when you get called in a room and somebody tells you, hey, pack your bags, you're relieved of duty, go home. And I said, why? What happened? Well, you sexually assaulted somebody. I said, who, when? What? And nobody was in my room. Well, don't worry about it. Go home. We'll talk about it. I said, wait, if you're telling me I'm doing something and I do not know what I'm doing, you can't tell me to just go home. I played this game hard. I played the game physical. And you guys know, we all worry about it. We see what happens with our brethren, and we now know about CTE. I'm saying, how can you say I'm doing something and I don't know it and you tell me to go home? I couldn't go home. Steve, they put me in a hotel other than a Marriott, and they watched me. I'm in the staff for 3 days. 3 days to make sure that I wasn't doing anything crazy. Make sure that I was okay mentally. And you guys know how hard we fought to get this tape. While I was sitting there and they were looking at me, we kept asking for the tape. Let us see what we're doing. Let us see if we're doing something. You saw how hard we fought legally. I'm just thankful. I'm just so thankful for those witnesses. I'm so thankful for this video, because without it, I just don't know where this would have gone. This is a sexual assault. This is what they're calling sexual assault. It just, you can run the video.
Okay, as we start here, y'all can see up to the top right, Michael is outside with the gentlemen that were here last time via Zoom. I call them the TMZ witnesses because they were the first to interview them, but it's 3 gentlemen. If you notice his body movements and what's going on, he's obviously going to be very friendly. There's some other people actually that I don't know their identity. Take a picture. That guy right there on the left, stop it. And go back 10 seconds. Can you do that? When I talked about the people that were in the back talking, I believe the complaining witness, I believe it's this gentleman here who's some kind of a manager. And then you'll see the witness who's been back come out this side. Okay, she's gonna walk way around here to this pole instead of back to where her job would be back that way. Okay, go ahead and roll.
Let me stop this and let me just fast forward it because we saw this part already.
Back over her shoulder and thinking, Michael, now pause it, pause it. Okay. They claim he was leering at her. Relevant on this tape, it just shows the lobby for another couple of minutes. Guys, this is ridiculous. I know what happened here. It's an overreaction based on the fact, the word we used the first press release out was cancel culture. It's where we are. There's no doubt from watching this woman's not offended. Is it possible the manager was upset at her for talking to Michael because he's a celebrity and she shouldn't? Is it possible the manager was upset because he has some kind of relationship with her we don't know about? We'll find all this out in the case. But the one thing that is really clear, this is not a sexual assault. This isn't sexual harassment. This isn't sexual misconduct. None of that exists here. And I think this tape is very, very clear. Mike, you want to say anything else? Because all I'm going to do now is run this one more time so everybody can watch it in real time. And that's all we have. You good? Okay. Thank you all. If you need copies of the Arizona pleading, I'm happy to provide it. And I can take a couple questions.
Do you know what you said to her? Can y'all just her dispute over their claim of what was said? Can y'all recall what was said at all?
Yeah, our conversation was about football. She said she wasn't much of a football fan. And I did tell her, I said, well, you watch, I was selling some shows. I said, you watch the shows that I do. Watch First Take or Game Day Morning. I said, you can look those up and you can see it. I said, now, I kind of get crazy on First Take and have some fun. So that's what we were just talking about.
And sir, at this point, are you hoping that with this being released, this will help in regards to your jobs, getting back to work and so forth?
You know, listen, as I stated, I miss my guys. I'm a football player. I miss my locker room and my team and all of those guys. But what was most important for me was to find out that I'm okay, first of all, that I'm not doing things that I was like, what do you mean? I didn't do anything. I met people downstairs. That was important, you know, because played the game. And I want to make sure I'm okay for my family and everything. So I just wanted to see it. You know, that was some, whether I work again or not, I don't know. I don't know what happened with all of that. But what I had to know was, what are we talking about? What are you saying? I assaulted somebody, I attacked somebody, and you won't let me see it. And you're trying to send me home. You're sending me home to my family. And I needed to know. So, you know, yeah, listen, I'm just, yeah.
Do you have any response to Marriott's claims about what was said in the conversation? The claims that they made?
It's about the job.
Yeah, I imagine they're trying to now, since we're here with this lawsuit, trying to say some things to help win a case. I believe even the filings that filing that you have, that they wrote that after all this came together. That's not anything that they came up with prior to. So, you know, I don't speak like that. You know what I mean? I've never spoken like that. So I'm not even, yeah, I totally deny saying that. I totally deny.
Sir, you said you'd like to see other angles from Marriott. Are you positive they have other angles that show the interaction? So how many?
Yes, they've said that they have terabytes of other information. Again, I've been trying to, they keep telling me they don't have time to get it. And if you realize the time frame I gave you, in a little less than 4 or 5 hours, they were able to come up with this video to show the NFL or show somebody, which I'm not even sure the NFL saw it, but they said that they did. Marriott said that they did. So I don't know why it's taking so long, but it's clear there's other angles.
Can you just go back over your talking about calling him court to federal court to Arizona, why the judge?
All right.
Sure. You know, when you file a lawsuit, you have to sue the right people.
Right.
That's really difficult to find out in the beginning.
So yeah, so this was the press conference.
So we knew it was Marriott.
The lawyer they're asking questions about filing a lawsuit and stuff. I'm gonna stop right there. But Michael Irvin is fighting for his name, rightfully so. He is fighting to clear his name. By looking at the video, from what I've seen, I don't see a sexual assault harassment. Now, if he had or did say anything that was inappropriate, there is no audio footage. So what we got is a he said, she said thing. And he is a black man. This is a white woman. This is a Marriott hotel. He is Dallas Cowboys. And I will go, I'm not a Dallas Cowboys fan, but I will say the Cowboys will win this one. I think he's got a good chance at winning a lawsuit and possibly Marriott settling this matter because a lot of times, especially with lawsuits like this, they may not want to take it to trial given that there's a celebrity, given that there may be evidence in his favor because there's no audio footage now, to say the least, what was there or what was said. Y'all see, I got my blue on. I'm not wearing blue for Dallas. Just be clear. That has nothing to do with the Cowboys. I just look good in this. Y'all, your boy had to go to court today, so I got the red tie, the burgundy and blue, and I know what's to do. So he sexually assaulted her through a handshake or a pat on the arm. Yeah, she felt that pat on. She felt that hand was. So she felt the hand. She felt the dick energy from Michael Irvin coming for her up through the handshake. It's gonna get me. Man, I don't know what to do with this. But good luck, Michael Irvin, with your lawsuit. We'll see what comes. This is $100 million. I believe they still filing some in Arizona State Court. I believe the amount they are still asking for is they'll still be asking for 100 million. Of course, it depends on a jury may not award that amount. Damages in Louisiana, we look at the loss sustained and the profit deprived. That's basically what damages are in Louisiana. Thank you, Superstar Bella. Before I get thank you, and Dapper. That's right. I'm styling and profiling, baby. Before I get out of here, I want to talk about this. Did y'all see? Now, you may have not, I go back to the Oscars. Now, you may have not watched the Oscars, but you sure as hell saw the Oscars Vanity Fair photos that have been going around of Mrs. Russell Wilson, aka Sierra. Uh, Sierra went out to the Oscars party in a sequence gown with the ass out. Good Lord. I'm just scrolling through this. Someone said the weakest vocals outside of Sierra. Now she got 3 kids, one with Future, 2 with Russell, married woman, Christian woman. And she went to the Oscars party assed out with her husband. And her husband is right there. Russell is just Russell in the days. Russell's still in shock from seeing that. I would say we know who wears the pants in the family, but she obviously doesn't like wearing pants. She just, good Lord. And they got women that are defending, about to say Rihanna. There are women that are defending Sierra and saying that's her business, that's her husband. Well, here's the thing: You say it is her business, but isn't she putting her business out in the street a little bit too much? You see, you're a public figure. Sierra, Russell Wilson, they're public figures. And your husband plays, I want you to think about this, lady, especially those that are supporting Sierra. I get y'all love seeing y'all, a lot of women live vicariously through celebrities. They see themselves through Sierra, Beyonce, Rihanna, oh, she's in the Megan Thee Stallion. Oh, she independent. She got money. She doing this and that. She live her life how she want. I see her through that. You live vicariously through someone who's and reality check. If you need a reality check, you're not making the money, the lifestyle that these women have. Russell Wilson plays in the NFL. He has to he plays 100% with men, and I'm sure as a quarterback, when he's up front in the huddle and he's about to snap the ball, when they break from the huddle with his offensive line in front of him and a defensive line on the opposing side to get in his head, you guys don't think they talking about this? You don't think some remarks were made about Mrs. Wilson to get in his head? When you marry someone, ladies, let me just clue you in on this, but especially the single ladies. When you're married to that man, you are a reflection of him. If you marry Gavin Richard, you are no longer Miss maiden name. You are Mrs. Richard. Or Mrs. Let's say Mrs. Wilson, Mrs. Carter. Mrs. Smith. You reflect your husband and you put your business. It's the same woman that will go as far. It's the same thing with Jada Pinkett Smith, how women will defend her for saying shit, dragging her husband on her talk show to talk about an entanglement with their son's friend. That's the point. That's disrespectful. Sierra's an attractive woman. Yes, beautiful. She wants to flaunt her curves. She wants to look good. Good. Are there other ways she could do it? Is the point I'm making. Do you think this is something you would? Do you think, for instance, your children? Now they're young now. I think the oldest is a preteen. You don't think, though, when she goes to school, when your kid goes to school, I believe her oldest is a boy with future. I'm sorry. When he goes to school, I know she's got a daughter. She's got the daughter. I think she's got two daughters and one son. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, she's got the son. Okay, so it's a son, it's a daughter, and it's a boy. So two sons and one daughter. All right. My mistake. Y'all don't think though, but point being, her son with future is 9 years old. Gonna be 9. Y'all don't think that, but even at that age, y'all don't think the kids at school gonna tease him about that? See, it's not about you anymore. It's about your family. You married. You have a kid. You have kids. Let's not just talk about Russell and what he has to deal with his football with the fellow football players. Y'all don't think he's gonna hit his shit? You don't think the kids gonna hit his shit? They got to deal with it too. Yeah, Russell. If we forget Russell Wilson, he's an adult. He's a man. He could take it. Okay, good. What about the 3 kids? You got to think about that. I'm not lying, and she's a good-looking woman. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm just saying, I'm not dissing her because she is talented. I, I think that she's not greatest singer in the world, not one of the best vocalists I think of when I think of singers, but she's talented. She sold millions of albums. She's churned out a lot of hits. What are the kids saying? What are they going to think when they see that? The boys are going to be telling Future, little Future, I'm going to be your new stuff. Oh, man. Y'all leave, we'll leave it on that, Superstar Bella. You took the words out of my mouth. The stepdad gonna be named past and gonna be named present. She was with Future, now she's with present. She was with Future, then she's with Russell. Now that they get divorced, she's gonna be with present. Or present and past, because he's gonna be in another one that's gonna leave. But I don't know, man. What's going on, Danielle? We're wrapping it up. You can check out the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen, the rebroadcast, Danielle. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I can't stress this enough if you love this channel, this program. Donate to my Cash App, PayPal, Zelle, Venmo at the bottom. Since this channel is not monetized, anything you can donate, we'd appreciate, ladies and gentlemen. And subscribe. You can also watch The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby on Kindle. You can order that now. And go to NornisCreoleBlends.com. Order you some Creole seasoning blends. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nornis goes great with every dish. All right. We're going to leave, ladies and gentlemen, in this. Shout out to Darius from Atlanta. I saw Black Voltron. He retweeted the show. I don't know if he was watching, but if he was, brother, thank you. I hadn't heard from you in a while. All our people out there, I know in California, we're a couple hours ahead, so they're probably still getting off from work. So I get that. All right, but we're going to wrap this up, guys. I'll be back Thursday with Sean James with some more critical analysis. Thing we call Random Topic Thursdays and life. That's all I have to say for this live stream. You can comment, link, and subscribe.